Going live. I'm live. Nobody here. Nobody watching. So, a little bit for this warm up, see if anybody comes up. And I'll start discussing my little topic here. I'm making a video on this.
I just went and looked at it live.
Oh, did I go live? You see me live? All right. And you're not even watching me. You're in the back seat. That's not a good sign. So, all right. So what happened is the reason for this the reason I picked the topic. So I just finished where am I going? I guess we're going this way. Finished the Van Halen collection 2, I guess. So it's all the Hagar years. I just finished listening to that. And I was going through, because I was going to go ahead and do like a review of that. And then I'm sitting there going, well, I listened to every song, kind of graded the albums, did all that stuff. And once I finished that, I'm like, well, I'm kind of not quite halfway, but I've got a good portion of the Van Halen collection done. And there's a couple albums I still haven't really listened to. So I'm like, let's go back to the beginning, back to the David Lee Roth era, and give it a listen. So I went all the way back to the first Van Halen album, worked my way all the way through. So let's see if I can get it in order. I think there were 6 David Lee Roth albums and 4 Sammy Hagar albums. Then you had the guy from Extreme, Michael Sharon, I think. And then you kind of had one more album that they did with David Lee Roth again at the end there. So I went back and listened. So let me see if I can get it. See if I can get this right. So there's Van Halen 2. That's easy. So now I know Diver Down was just before 1984. So that leaves me with Fair Warning and Women and Children First. So I'm going to go Van Halen 1, Van Halen 2, Women and Children First, Fair Warning, Diver Down, and 1984 as far as David Lee Roth era. So let's see if I got that right. Did I get that correct? So Van Halen 2, Women and Children First, Fair Warning, Diver Down, 1984. I got it. Okay, so there were a total of 12 studio albums, official studio albums. There was some live stuff in between. I didn't do that. I was just going straight for the studio thing, and just to see what I thought about with Van Halen. And I wasn't too surprised with the results. I knew there was Van Halen stuff that I liked and some that I thought was okay. And I know there's some die-hard Van Halen fans out there who say everything's great, but I don't fall into that category. And it's funny because I'm a casual Van Halen fan, right? So they were part of my soundtrack in the 80s, definitely 5150. I mean, that's the one that's close to me because that's just one of those albums I like from beginning to end. And it's probably the only Van Halen album I like from beginning to end. Okay? And this is obviously just opinion on here. But, when you hear when they're on their game and the songs are just a good song, a good rock pop song, I guess you could say, Van Halen, good rock pop. Whatever you want to put pop under Van Halen, so good rock song, whatever you want to call it. So when you hear how good it can be, there's some stuff that goes, some songs that are like, and then there's a lot of those songs that seem to be just like, and there's some instrumentals that it feels like they were lacking material. I don't know if that goes with inspiration, but lacking material at that point. Where they were, I don't know. I mean, especially like Diver Down, it was such a mix. We'll get into that, but they throw an instrumental. Like my favorite instrumental by Eddie is Eruption, and we'll give it to him. It's the second song off his first album. Let's see what you got. And I would have liked to see Eruption be a little bit longer too, but he seemed to like these little instrumental things that just go in and play that guitar fast, and then you end the song. And sometimes I'm wondering, you know, what was the point? You know, where's the rest of it? You know, some of the instrumentals are like a beginning to another song. Like, was there one that they did? It's a Pretty Woman. I think they had an instrumental just before that. It kind of faded. It kind of faded, went right into Pretty Woman. You know, so, but they call that a track. You know, and I look at the instrumental. I'm like, why didn't you just make that the beginning of the song? But you know, I guess they have their things in like these little short little instrumentals that just ended before they probably should have. I'd like to see more, like before they really get going. But you know, Eruption was cool because it was like, you know, I get it, first album, let's show them what we can do, little drum thing at the beginning, and you know, go into Eruption. But I felt like there could have been more to Eruption too. But either way, that's still like my favorite. So I went through them, and like I said, it didn't really surprise me what I found. I found that I like the David Lee Roth era. I gave it more because I never considered him a really great singer, but he's obviously he can sing, but there's not a lot of great in there. He's more of a talker singer kind of thing. He can sing if he needs to, but you're not going to expect any crazy high vocals out of David Lee Roth. But I appreciate him a lot more listening to it, and I actually saw a video. I think he was on Howard Stern. He did Ice Cream Man on Howard Stern, and he was playing guitar. He was just riffing. The dude's talented. I mean, you get there try to do that with a guitar. It might not be the most amazing thing ever, but he got up there and he did his thing, and it made me appreciate him a little bit more. Just, you know, when I grew up with David Lee Roth, it was 1984, tight pants and doing splits and jumping all over the place. And, you know, I didn't really take him that seriously, and as soon as kind of they were on my radar, he was out of the band. Here comes Sammy Hagar, and 5150 just took me by, you know, not surprised, just they had me in 5150. So always, you know, I know there's magic in Van Halen, but it's got me questioning my record collection too, whether I want to keep everything, because at this point I have every Van Halen album except for the last two. I don't think Van Halen 3 or was a Different Kind of Truth. I don't think either of those are available on vinyl as far as I can tell. I did a little bit of research, didn't go too crazy, but everything that came up was not available. And it was weird too, because A Different Kind of Truth, I went through my streaming service, used to streaming. Well, I listened to the albums at home, and then I was out and about, so I was streaming the songs too, but all in chronological order, beginning to end, you know, kind of thing. But A Different Kind of Truth wasn't on the streaming service. I was kind of surprised with that, but luckily, and I don't know how people do this, they had A Different Kind of Truth on YouTube as a video, and it was neat because they had, you could go to each song if you wanted to down in the description, so that was cool. I wish I remember who did that. I'd like to give them credit. But I wonder how they got away with that, if they got a claim and everybody was okay with it, or if it's somebody who got rights to the music or whatever. But fortunately, they had the whole album on YouTube, and I was able to listen to the whole thing and form my opinion on it, and I can share with you guys what I came up with. So if any of you watching, all two of you, are Van Halen fans, have any history of Van Halen, any knowledge, share it with me here. So now I have a complete scope, like an idea of what Van Halen was. And, you know, you can definitely tell what the good stuff was and what the stuff where I was just like, okay, we're doing this again. It felt like there was a lot of filler in the David Lee Roth era, and there was some in the Sammy era too. Songs that just, I don't know if you call it filler, it's just songs that just really didn't go anywhere. Man, there's somebody, conspiracy theory truck over here. Government grows, liberty decreases. F the FBI. Wow. Libtards. Oh, that's awesome. Good old American over there. Anyway, Um, so yeah, so what I was going to say here, so I went through the Van Halen catalog, and like I don't think they had, I don't know if you call it filler, but they're just songs that didn't. I need a hook. I need something. I can't have a song that just really doesn't go anywhere. And I felt like there was times with David Lee Roth where he had like, and probably Sammy too, where really good verses, but the chorus just was or vice versa. Like you're trudging through the verses, and all of a sudden they got a nice hook in the chorus, and it pleases the ear. So that was cool. Um, and like there's some stuff with David Lee Roth and Sammy where I felt like, I don't like these Van Halen songs where it's just, and some people might, but it's not my thing. Where it's just double bass drums going and going as fast as we can. And Eddie said, and it's almost like, okay, David or Sammy, uh, come up with something, and it's just difficult to. And there's no way to get hooks. And some of the chord changes, I feel that Eddie puts in there doesn't. They don't allow for hooks and changes and these melodies to happen. And some people might be okay with that, but I need that little bit of ear candy. Not ear candy, I guess ear candy is effects or whatever, but I need that. I need that hook. I need something to change up that song. Something besides flat line on the melody. I need something that's going to go up and down and capture me. So I feel like there was that going on, and I don't know if they were just, and you could really feel them gaining momentum because they had like "Dance the Night Away" and but that's a cover. "Running with the Devil," but that's kind of a heavy song, right? Kind of heavy sounding song, dark. Um, you could feel the band changing, and I think they brought some keyboards and synthesizers or something like diver down, so you could feel that lead up to 1984. So, and then when 1984 hit, you're like, boom! It was like this pop commercial success because they're writing songs like even "Hot for Teacher" as crazy as those drums like they're different. It's because it goes in and then they stop and they let Eddie come in with his riff and then all this the riffs are good, the lyrics are good, the riffing that David Lee Roth does, the chorus. So they have melodies and it's a structured song, and that's what I like. Some people can go without that, and I don't need to have that all the time. Like I'll listen to Zappa and I can listen to other bands, but they always have something else to capture your ear with what they're doing. So that's what I'm feeling on this thing. But yeah, I can feel when 1984 hit, boom, and then they were on that roll as songwriters. So when Sammy came along, and he was more of a melody guy and all that, he fit right in and was able to bring the oomph as far as vocals and range and all that to the band. So I think that's when they really got strong in there. So that's my overall kind of look at the band. It was kind of neat to. I didn't rush it. I just listened to it throughout the day. I made note. I think making note of each song as you listen to it, and I came up with a little rating system, and it allowed me to kind of think about the song and listen to it. And some songs I listened to maybe one more time, but I didn't want to repeat them a lot because I wanted to get through the flow of their albums, how they came out, what they were doing as musicians. I was looking at the years and seeing what they were doing. So this is what I came up with. I can give you maybe I'll see if I give you I might save that for my video. But see if there's not too many people that watch this, I might just tell you now. And more people will probably watch my other video. So we'll see. But I went through here, and so the first one was Van Halen, first Van Halen album. And I've got Mark over here. Stop sign. What time is it? 2:16. We have 15 minutes. Just a second to park, and we'll talk about the Van Halen one and what I thought of it. That's Van Halen background, history, whatever. comments, ideas, let me know. Getting ready to talk about Van Halen 1. Or just Van Halen, yes. Okay. Some people get these big trucks and don't know how to drive. Alright, so this part. Alright. Cool. I can talk to you guys. So, Van Halen 1. There we go. Alright. So you have the songs Running with the Devil, Eruption, Really Got Me, King's Cover, Ain't Talking About Love, I'm the One, and that's side 1. And then side 2 is Jamie's Crying, Atomic Punk, Feel Your Love Tonight, Little Dreamer, Ice Cream Man, and On Fire. So, what I thought about these were Running with the Devil. My favorite songs off this were Running with the Devil, Eruption, You Really Got Me, Ain't Talking About Love. So almost the whole first side. I'm the One was good, and I wouldn't say it was bad or there was filler, so I just ranked it a little bit lower, so it got a little bit weaker there at the end. But for the most part, pretty solid first side. And then side 2, Jamie's Crying, Feel Your Love Tonight, Ice Cream Man. So again, my top ones were Running with the Devil, Eruption, You Really Got Me, Ain't Talking About Love, Jamie's Crying, Feel Your Love Tonight, Ice Cream Man. So, and then the weaker ones were I'm the One, Little Dreamer, and On Fire. And I really didn't like Atomic Punk that much. It's not. I think that was one of the songs, if I remember correctly, or something. Just this was whatever for me. So as far as a rating, if I gave a rating system like if we were in school, the first Van Halen album would get a B. A pretty high B. Yeah, mid-range B. And then, let's see, Van Halen II, 1979, so that was a year later. Side 1, you have You're No Good, Dance the Night Away, which You're No Good, actually I caught a friend of mine by surprise, because I'm like listening to it, I'm like, man, that sounds like the lyrics to the Linda Ronstadt song, but it doesn't sound like the Linda Ronstadt song. And sure enough, it's that song. She covered it. Somebody before her did it. It was written by Clinton Ballard, and I forgot what the lady's name was, but I think it was in the 60s. It was released as a single, and then Linda Ronstadt did it in the like 74 or something like that. Had a big hit with it. So You're No Good, Dance the Night Away, Somebody Get Me a Doctor. Those are my 3 favorite songs off the album, and those are like the first 3 songs. Then after that, it got kind of weak for me. Bottoms Up, and Out of Love Again just really didn't do much for me. Those are probably the weakest songs on the album as far as I'm concerned. And DOA was another one. And then middle ground was Women in Love and Beautiful Girls. It was like middle ground. It was like okay, but it wasn't it's spectacular or anything. But so Van Halen 2, as far as how I rated it, again in a school system, how would I have rated it? I got a D actually, high D. But yeah, it wasn't a completely great album. So I do have it on vinyl, so I'm gonna have to rethink this because I am trying to make my record collection where it's all killer, no filler kind of things. So I gotta really think about these albums. When you have a collection, it's hard to break it up. But if you don't like the albums, you're not going to listen to them. What's the point of the collection? So I got to think about it. Anyway, so Van Halen 2 gets a D. So we went from a B, high B with Van Halen, to a D with Van Halen 2. And then another year. So every year they're putting out an album, 78, 79, 80, Women and Children first. And a note that I found out about this album was this was the first Van Halen album to include covers. So no covers on this one. And so it had 9 tracks on there. And I don't know, I felt it kind of lacked inspiration at points. I had 2 songs that put up like greatest hits kind of thing, or that I like, and that was "Everybody Wants Some," which is a cool song, because that one has structure, it has a melody, it has a direction to it. So "Everybody Wants Some," and then "Could This Be Magic?" So that was a cool song too. Then kind of down a level for me was "And the Cradle Will Rock." It's a cool song, but it's not. I don't know. It's not one of my favorites of theirs. And then "Take Your Whiskey Home," Borderline, and then the rest were. I don't know. Got nothing out of the rest of the album. So you had "Fools," "Romeo Delight," "Tora Tora," did not like, "Loss of Control," and "In a Simple Rhyme." So those really didn't do much for me as far as those went. So overall, this is the worst one so far. So hopefully you guys aren't fans of this album, but I gave it an F, a mid-range F, if there's such a thing. Just the album itself. So I'm gonna have to really think about if I want to, keep this album for "Everybody Wants Some" and "Could This Be Magic?" So slowly getting worse for me. So I probably would have given up on if I was older and growing up on Van Halen at this era. I probably would have given up on it at this point. And then you come with "Fair Warning." And it ends up a little bit better than "Women and Children" first. So the highlights on this for me are "Mean Street" and "Unchained." And then a little bit better than those two, or not better, a little bit not as great, is "Push Comes to Shove," "So This Is Love," "Dirty Movies," and "Hear About It Later." Those were okay. They would strike me as like, got to hear this song a lot. And then the bottom of the songs for that album, "Fair Warning," would be "Center Swing," "Sunday Afternoon in the Park," and that was an instrumental. One of those instrumentals that were kind of short. I didn't understand it because it didn't really feel like it went anywhere. And then "One Foot Out the Door." And some notes I made here was it's kind of like an anticlimactic ending. Again, I didn't see the point of "Sunday in the Park," and "One Foot out the door" was like a 2-minute song. It's really short, so it just kind of fizzled out from my perspective of the album. But I did do a little bit better than "Women and Children" first. Gave it a low D, school grade. So that's where "Women and Children," "Fair Warning" rated. So far they put out an album every year, beginning in 78, 78, 79, 80, 81, and in 82, diver down. So they're putting them out every year, and I wonder, it's like Elton John when I did his discography. Did he need to put out an album every year? Could he taken a year off and had a really good album? I think maybe these guys could have too. So some people will argue with me. They'll say every album's awesome. So I'd like to pick their brains on that. So if you feel that way, let me know. So "Fair Warning," and then 82 comes along, and you're getting ready to break ground. And here comes "Diver Down." And this one, it is. A friend of mine was saying, it's a mix, and it's all over the place. And it was. It felt like just all, all different kind of weird genres, but not in a good way. Just kind of all over the place. So the highlights, I have a highlight. I liked "Oh Pretty Woman," of course. They kick butt on the Roy Orbison song. And then "Happy Trails," silly, but I like what they did with it. I like them showing off their vocals a little bit. And it has melody, and it makes you feel good. So I put it down as a song I don't mind hearing. I like it. And then Then Big Bad Bill is Sweet William Now. I like the song, good melody. I like what they did with it. It's definitely not a Van Halen song. It's kind of like, to me, it felt like David Lee Roth is the Paul McCartney of Van Halen. Yeah, your friend. Yeah, my friend rules. Yeah, he's an opinionated pain in my ass. Is what my friend is. But he was correct on Diver Down. So yeah, I did like those songs. If you look at them as a song and would I want to hear them again? Yeah, I would. I like them. So those are the three strongest off of Diver Down: Pretty Woman, Happy Trails, and Big Bad Bill, Sweet William Now. And that's a song from 1924 by Margaret Young. So it was, it reminds me of like what Paul McCartney did at times with the Beatles, and I liked it what he did with the Beatles with when I'm 64 and things like that. Brought back an old feel to it. That's kind of what David Lee Roth did, and you look at what he did in his solo career with, California Girls and Just a Gigolo. I mean, so you see what he was into. I think it kind of, I don't know, fit in some areas of Van Halen, but not always. But yeah, so those are my three top. Down a level would be Where Have All the Good Times Gone, the Kinks song. It's good. It just feels like it's lacking something overall. So I don't know if I'd always want to hear that song. Secrets, Dancing in the Street. I didn't really see the. You gotta get inside. You gotta get her inside, huh? Okay. I gotta get her inside, so I'll take a break here after I dive her down. Secrets, Dancing in the Streets. Marvin Gaye wrote it. It was big with Martha and the Vandells. I think even the Stones did a better version of it, but I really see the Van Halen doing it here. Little guitars, don't really, not into that, and the full bug. And the lowest on this album for me would be Hang 'em High, Cathedral, which is an instrumental, short instrumental, and I didn't get the point of it. I'd like to see it longer, do something. It just felt like right when you're getting into it or you want more, it just ends. So I don't get the point of that. Intruder, another one, and that's the one that's kind of like a Pretty Woman intro. It just make it the Pretty Woman intro. Why are you making it on its own? I don't get that. And the Little Guitars intro, it's by itself. And again, that one, just make it part of Little Guitars and call it a day. So I'm just gonna get her out of the car real quick, and then we're gonna get into 1984, the big one here, right? The big game changer for Van Halen. So this is the time to go pee, or right, intermission. Go grab your popcorn. Let's get good. Right? This is where Van Halen's getting ready to really take off. I don't know what their popularity was before this, if they were selling out big places or what the deal was. But I know they definitely were by 1984. So I'll be right back. Talk amongst yourselves. Yeah, it's 1984 in your thoughts. guys have any, let's see. Yeah. Trend rules. So what's up, self? Oh, you're having a conversation with yourself. There you go. You might as well. You're the only one in here, so I'm all right. Weather's nice. There you go. Okay, that's good. So that's what you did during your intermission? Okay, hey, this is how we entertain ourselves. And I did 2 walk-in talks from our other channel recently. So one went out today. One's scheduled for Wednesday. I'll be out of town Wednesday, so I'm going to hopefully get one filmed today. And so we'll have a full week of walk-in talks again. I didn't have any last week because I was a little busy. But anyway, let's get back into the Van Halen thing here. Find a nice shady spot. So I did see where there was little, you could feel the build up to 1984 and into the synthesizers and the 80s sound that Van Halen took. And for me, look, I'm a pop guy, but I do like heavier stuff. I'm not afraid to get out there and try different things and give weird music a chance, But you got to have something in there to capture me. And that's what 1984 did. I wouldn't say 1984 is completely solid album that a lot of people say, oh, it's perfect, beginning to end. No, it's not to me. But it has some really strong moments. You can't doubt that. Man, all the shady spots are taken. Everybody's parked underneath the trees. So, yeah, 1984 has some major strong points, right? But it doesn't have, it's not perfect. So, get into it like the first song, 1984. I'll talk about that on the first spot. So, that song, I mean, listen to it now, it's outdated, the synthesizers that it used, but it's still cool. It has this cool aspect to it. It's kind of like a cool rockin' synthesizer thing going on. So nice, it's a good intro. And then, what does it go into? Wow, this lady just, man, there were 2 stop signs. Awesome. So 1984 comes right into Jump. So boom, right there. And I guess that's a song about there was some guy on a bridge or something, and he was gonna. I don't think he did jump. I think the police got him, but I don't know. David Ross said, "Might as well just jump." He wasn't making fun of the guy's situation, as far as I know. He just said, "Might as well jump." And they were looking for lyrics, and there you go. So that's where that comes from. So I like Jump. I still do. The whole intro. It's just an anthem. It's an anthem. It's just a moment in time song. So I don't know if that's part of it. I'm probably more into it now than I was when I was younger. It got so overplayed, but I remember listening to the radio, and every time a song would come on, I'd hit that record button. I probably had Jump on what was a blank cassette probably like 3 times or so. So I did like the song. So it goes into Jump from the 1984 instrumental introduction kind of thing. And then you go into Panama. I wonder if they should have spread the hits out a little bit more. Not the hits, but the solid songs. Spread them out a little bit more, because you're coming in strong. Like with 1984, Jump builds it up. Panama builds it up even better, even more. I think Panama is probably the strongest song on here. It's debatable between that, maybe Hot for Teacher. But then you kind of drop off a little bit with Top Jimmy. Top Jimmy's good, but you can look when you come off a song like Panama, you're gonna notice a song that's not as strong, and that's Top Jimmy. But it's not. I still like it. I wouldn't put it on my playlist, but I would listen to it if it came on. And then Drop Dead Legs I like too. That was a good song. And then you go to side 2, you got Hot for Teacher. And again, that's the sporadic drums kind of going, but it breathes a little bit. It's not just chaos. The drums stop and you let Eddie come in with his riff, and then it builds back up into the song. Great structure, can't beat that. So, and then we had these the quotes out of give me 1 second. I need to take this. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. Uh, had an issue with my daughter's tablet, and that was the tech guy. He was able to repair her tablet. So good job, because we have a long trip to Orlando coming up, so I need her entertained back there. Okay, so yeah, but there was a couple things in 1984 that were kind of like the soundtrack to my high school days. These little quotes, because he had 2 lines in there. What was the line? I think the clock's slow. I remember a guy in math class who would say that. Oh man, I think the clock's slow. Like when the day was just dragging on. You got that from the song, and then coming in, and I got in trouble. I think I went to my guidance counselor one time because I said I don't feel tardy. And I walked into class a little late, and I said I don't feel tardy. So it was yeah, I got in trouble for that. Thank you, Van Halen, for inspiring me to be a delinquent. So top songs on this album for me: Jump, Panama, Drop Dead Legs, Hot for Teacher, and I'll Wait. See, I'll Wait, great rock pop song. A great melody in there. Just a good song. So I like that. Going down just a notch. There were no like stinkers on this album, just not hard, full up to the level. Again, the first ones that I mentioned I put on a playlist and listen to it. Next one would be like, I probably wouldn't put on the playlist, but I'll listen to it if it comes on. And that would be Top Jimmy. I already mentioned that. 1984. Girl Gone Bad and House of Pain. They're good songs, but nothing that completely right home about. So, Dr. Beam, I'm going to pick up her tablets. Let's go for a ride. So then 5150 comes out. I'm trying to think. So I didn't own any Van Halen. I knew people that had Van Halen albums for this. And I'd heard some songs, but never complete albums. I'd heard 1984, but I just knew the hits. This is when MTV was around, so I was watching the videos. I thought, and I really think, Jump's a fun video. Panama's a fun video. But I think they really nailed it as far as a video when they did the Hot for Teacher video. And I'm not just talking about the chicks with the bikinis running around and doing all that. Of course, that was fun. But the video itself, just the kids, and at the very end where they show where everybody ended up and after high school and all that, and the black and white throwing the kid off the bus. Just visual, just a good video. I just felt it really grabbed it. I hate videos that. What side of the road do we drive on? Are we in England all of a sudden? Yeah, I guess we just drive on the left side of the road. Okay. So, yeah, I hate videos that they have nothing to do with the song. I just don't get those. But I thought Hot for Teacher just made it, like, perfect. I think it was mostly in black and white, and Eddie Van Halen in the paper all over the place, and him coming down with the guitar across the table. I mean, just good video. Thought it was well done. So I knew all that, but I never owned 1984. As a kid, I was big into Billy Joel. These were songs that were big, and I listened to them. I liked them. I recorded them on the radio, but I didn't own the tapes. I couldn't. There's cassette time back then when this came out, and didn't have a lot of dough, so you couldn't own everything. So, like I said, I recorded it off the radio, so I had it. I could listen to the song whenever I wanted to. Had my own little playlist on cassette. I remember when I went from 60-minute tapes to 90, and then they had the 120. I was like, man, I could get full albums on each side, or I could really fill up these suckers. So that was cool. So yeah, they got my attention, and that was a big soundtrack. And then I'm trying to think how I got into 5150. Now I want to say one of the first singles, I can't remember which came first, but 2 of them played a lot. I think Love Walks In was the first single off of 5150. And there was just something about that, that melody, and it rocked. I know it's not a heavy rock song, but it's not a wimpy song, and I didn't really consider it like a power ballad either. There was something in that song that was going somewhere. It wasn't like, let's write crappy lyrics. I think it was more than, it shouldn't be just qualified or put in the category of power ballad. I just think it was a good song. let's see. You should have fleeced Columbia House like the rest. I did later, and yeah, I wonder who inspired me to do that when they had the 11 buy 11. I forgot how that works. Buy 11, or you get 11 free. You had to buy one, and I would sign up everybody. So that was during the CD time, so that was like the 90s. Yeah, I was a little young, so you had a couple of years on me. So yeah, that's why I did. I wasn't paying attention. So I'm trying to think with 5150, and a quick shout out to Sam. Sam, I've been watching your videos and seeing your live stuff. A lot of times I've been busy lately, let the videos go into autoplay and watching, but I haven't been able to comment. So you're still on my radar. So you know. So 5150, so Love Walks In. I knew that song had me right away. There's just something cool about it that I really liked. And Dreams came out. And it was weird. I meant to look this up. Maybe I will by the time I do the video on this. But I don't remember there being a video for Love Walks In, like an official video. I'll have to correct me if I'm wrong. I don't remember that video being played. Now I remember the one for Dreams, and the band wasn't even in Dreams. It was like U.S. Air Force fighter pilots, and I don't know if that was because like Top Gun was still kind of a big thing. But Dreams was just all these jet fighters flying through and doing all this stuff. So I remember that. And then I don't know if they had. I can't remember if they had another song. I think they released Best of Both Worlds, and that was like a live video. So I'm not gonna get into the whole video thing. So I'm trying to figure out at what point I picked up 5150. It was on my radar, and I know I had the cassette by the probably when did this come out? 86. So that would have been like my freshman year, high school freshman year going into it. And I think the one that put me over the edge or whatever, because I was getting a little girl crazy at the time. I had my first girlfriend during that summer between middle school and high school. I had my first real girlfriend. So I remember I had the tape. I did have the cassette. At some point, I picked up the cassette. I don't remember how I got it. And I used to go horseback riding. We had horses, and I rode my bike to go do that. And coming back, it was getting dark, and I've got my radio. I always had my radio on the end of my bike, and cassette playing. And Summer Nights comes on, and it was like middle of summer, humidity hitting. Just pedaling my bike, and then that riff for Summer Nights comes on, and just forever painted a memory in my head. Yeah, because it fit. It was like a soundtrack was being played for me. So I think that song would let me go back to that really cool time in my life right there. So Summer Nights came on, and just every song off of 5150. Did I get this 100% or was there a slacker? Let me see. Comes right in with Good Enough. I like that. That's one of your kind of thing, but their structure is going somewhere, so I like it. The Love Walks In, 5150, and Us. I'm looking at the side 2. Sorry. No. Okay. Good Enough. Why Can't This Be Love? I think that was a single too. Great. Another just strong. It's a love song, whatever, but it's a good song. Get Up. That's the one where there's like the drums going nuts and whatever. But I still like it. Would be one I put on a playlist, but I listened to it on the album, but it wasn't a filler by any means. Then Dreams comes on and Summer Nights. So almost a perfect like first side, and it ends strong with Summer Nights. So it makes you want to flip that album and keep going. Then perfect second side for me. So I think the weakest song on this album for me was Get Up, and the rest I rated very high. So this got like a 96% rating, so it was a strong A. Excuse me. So side 2 come in with Best of Both Worlds. Great melodies, great song structure, just killing it. Then Love Walks In, 5150, and it ends with Inside, which is fun. I heard Melinda Murphy talking about this the other day, and you could tell the guy was just having a good time. They were just, who knows, smoking it up, doing whatever, but you could tell they were in a good mood and they were creating a great album. and it's just a good feeling song. You know, like just the silliness of it, but it's still a good song. It's a great way to end it. So that's why 5150 is like the big one for me, right there at the top. So that was what, 86, and I think they took a couple years off. Yeah, 88, OU812 comes out, and this is these album titles. I don't know what they're supposed to be creative or just being silly. OU812 came out. I never, and it's funny because I figured 86. I don't know if my music just diverted in other directions, but you know, as big as 5150 was for me, like OU812 really wasn't completely on my radar. I'm trying to remember why, but I did like the song When It's Love. That whole getting kicks and then tapping the cymbals and everything. Just, yeah, it's a good song. But it never did make me want to get the album. I don't know what I was doing. I don't think I was quite working yet. I didn't get that out. And I don't remember, and probably because it didn't have a lot of songs coming off of it either. I think When It's Love was the biggest one it played. I don't really remember anything else being played off of that. Now that I think about it. So maybe that was why. I don't know. But I do have it now. And I gave it a good listen. I actually listened to the whole album for the first time recently. And gave it a shot. And it ranked pretty good. It wasn't as strong as 5150, but it ranked up pretty good. I like Mine All Mine. I like the changes in that. It has a good melody. It goes somewhere. And they break it down. It's got Mine All Mine. It builds back up again. So I like that whole feel of that song. When It's Love, that's a big one. AFU, Naturally Wired. That I did. It's one of those chaotic sort of songs, but it wasn't. I felt like there was a structure, and it had, you know, something to it other than just here's a song, here you go, song great, or song on the album. So I felt that it did deserve like a 1. So like the lowest level, whatever how I rated it. So I brought it up. One of the songs I'll listen to if it's on, but won't put it on a playlist. And then let's see. Oh, knocked myself out of it. Okay, AFU, Naturally Wired, and then Cabo Wabo. Has a decent chorus to it. I think if I remember this correctly, it had a good chorus, the Cabo Wabo part, but the verses were kind of whatever. You know, didn't do much. It wasn't it's a good song. Wasn't like a song to end, but I felt like it could have had more, so I didn't give it a top rating. So it kind of falls in there a little bit. And then side 2, Source of Infection, just didn't do it for me. I think that was just a chaotic song of non-nonsense. Sammy all sexually crazy. So that didn't really do it for me. But then Feel So Good was good. Finish What You Started. Oh, that was another single, Finish What You Started. Great song. Not a typical Van Halen song. You know, like he's plucking at it, giving you a good sound in there. So Finish What You Started. Great melody, good verses, chorus, everything. So yeah, that was another one. That was a fun song because I heard it and I'd forgotten about it. And you play the album, you hear it again, you're like, oh, that's a great song. It's fun to hear a song that you forgot about that's great and you hear it again. It's fun to listen to. So that's fun to do. Then Black and Blue I liked. I would put that on my playlist, the top song. And then Sucker in a 3-piece. It was good. Maybe it's just the subject matter of it. Sometimes it just throws me off, and the melodies weren't quite there. So I didn't put it. I put it on. You know, again, I'd listen to it, but I wouldn't put it on a playlist. So that's what I did with that. So overall, grading system back in school. OU812 got like a B, a low B for me. So hopefully you guys watch because I'm going to do a video on this, so I figured this would just be a fun topic, and obviously I have a lot to talk about with this. I didn't realize I had so much to say about Van Halen. And then, so you go from 88 to 91. So they're taking some breaks here. And you get into For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge. And here we go again with the song title, right? How do we do this? I don't even know if that's supposed to even mean anything, or they just found a word to represent every letter in the word they were trying to hide. So they're trying to be cheap just during the censoring stuff and all that stuff. Traffic. Okay. And this one didn't do so great for me. I think there were some highlights on it, but the album itself wasn't the greatest. So we had Pound Cake. And Pound Cake's a fun song. It's structured. It has a melody to it. It's lively. It's not, like I have to put on a playlist. It's not a throwaway song, and it's not a playlist song. It's just right there in the middle. Judgment Day, I felt like that really didn't go anywhere. So we that song. Spanked was another one. It was like a good, but not playlist good. Run Around, another one, good, but not playlist good. And then Pleasure Dome, I didn't care for. So that ranked real low. Just felt like it wasn't doing much. People hanging over here. All right. And then In and Out. Here goes Sammy being all, Sammy. I don't know what he's doing. He's seeking women at that time. Judgment Day. Oh no, sorry. Man on a Mission. That one either. That didn't really do anything for me. I'd probably pass it if it came on again. And this is why I have to consider these albums. I'm like, great, I have these albums, but there's some stinkers, so do I keep this album? It's going to have to be on my little short list if I need to get some space when I get some new albums in. I'll know which ones to get rid of here. I'm going to try to do this with all my albums now, go through everyone and rank everything, so I really know what I think about these albums. So, The Dream Is Over. Had a strong chorus, okay lyrics, so it was not playlist worthy, but good. And then Right Now, I mean, that's almost worth having the album for, right? Because Right Now, I think, is probably, people are going to not like this, but I think it's probably the best Van Halen song written, just the way it's done, structured, the feeling of it, everything. Right Now just kills it for me. And then 316, I like the acoustic intro in that one, and that's what I liked. It had an intro to it. It went into the song, and it made sense. It wasn't just like, here's one little song. They're going to fade out, and it should just go into the song. And then Top of the World I like. So it had a good, strong ending. Sit on top of the world. Yeah, good melody, good chorus, everything. So it had, like the strongest, so I might even keep the album just for Right Now. I don't know. And Top of the World, I don't know. I'd have to listen to it again. I think the first side is probably I just listened to the second side mainly. Let's start off with two stinkers. I don't know. But Right Now, I don't know. I don't know if I could get rid of an album with Right Now on it. I that decision. So overall, got a D for me, and it was a low D. So that's where I ended up with For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge with Van Halen. And then Balance comes out in 95, and it's crazy. See, the money they want for an original of For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge, I don't know why that album's so crazy expensive, but I would not pay that money for it. I'm glad I got a reissue of it. I don't know why people want that album so bad. I don't know what it was about that album that I don't understand. But there's a demand. So Balance 95. That was the year I got married, right there. So this came out. What was the Can't Stop Loving You was the big hit off of this. So just another good song, good melody, all that. That's where I like to see them. So when you have a song of that caliber, and you have other songs that go with it, You could see where the other ones are lacking a little bit. Let's see. I think it was rare on LP. Everyone had one. Yeah. So if that's it, yeah. But I guess if that's your inspiration to buy a crazy expensive album that's not great, I don't get it. But I guess if it's rare, I guess that's the collector point of it. So everybody has their reason. I just. So let's see. Seventh Seal I like. That was a good opener off of Balance. Can't Stop Loving You. Don't Tell Me What Love Can Do. Good song, but not playlist worthy. And it had two stinkers for me, Amsterdam and Big Fat Money. Just went nowhere for me. And Doing Time was a little bit better. So, and then two, Aftershock did nothing for me. I think that was another one of those just chaotic or nowhere songs. Man, my throat's dry. Sorry, guys. Aftershock, Strung Out, not enough. Okay. Take Me Back, Deja Vu. I felt like it wasn't going anywhere. And it ends with Feeling. So it just kind of just poops out at the end, I guess you could say. So that got a D, a low D balanced it. Actually, just even a little bit lower than for a Mark Cardinal Knowledge. And then we go to, okay, so that's it. That's it for Sammy. Sammy's out. So I did listen to, maybe I'll save the rarities for later. Because that's, again, I was focusing on studio albums. So I'll talk about the rarities when I do this as a video. I believe it or not, I'm going to do this as a video. So maybe I'll just save this as the video. What do you think? Should I just keep this as the video? Is that Van Halen video? Maybe I should, because this is so long. So maybe I'll go into the rarities. So let's do this. So Van Halen 3 came out in 98. So we'll talk about that first, and we'll kind of go back to Hagar era, because Hagar came back around 2004 and did a couple songs. Well, they did. What's interesting about it goes to 2004, but it makes this huge jump, right? Because Sammy was in the band and he wasn't, and then he came back and did some songs for their like a greatest hits. So, okay, I'll go ahead and talk about it since it's Sammy era. These are all Sammy songs. They don't go to Van Halen 3. Now, Be Wise Magic, I believe, was David Lee Roth. I think that was his song, so it wouldn't be on the rarities because the rarities was only Hagar. So I don't know if that Van Halen collection, the first one, that was all Diamond Dave stuff, I would think if they were going to do it, they would do it on that one. But this set was all Hagar all the way through. So, yeah, no. Michael Chavez, I just noticed this morning that Apple Music has remastered vinyl version of several. Yeah, that's what we're talking about right here in this collection. I'm going through the whole discography, but yeah, I picked up that, and I believe that's the remastering they're talking about that they used for these albums. I forgot who all was involved in it, but yeah, it had all the it should be all the Sammy Hagar stuff, and I don't know if the rarities is available or not on streaming. I didn't look for that. I listened to the album. So, but so rarities, I still haven't gone back. I've listened to a Little Feat version of Apolitical Blues. I still have to do that. But I did like their version of it. I thought it was like a raw song. It was on this, I guess, from what I'm reading, this is what it said on the album, and I haven't gone too far into it, but supposedly this was on the CD version of OU812 in '88, and I liked it a lot. It was cut down. I think it was acoustic. It was very raw. I think it had piano, it had harmonica, it was very bluesy. It was fun to hear. So I don't know where it would fit on the CD. I didn't go back to try to figure it out or see where it was placed on a CD, but supposedly it was on a CD version, or maybe as a bonus track or something. Don't know. Then I don't know how you pronounce it. Ballad Ethereum. But it was supposed to be on Balance 95, and it's an instrumental, and I did like that one a lot. It had a cool sound to it. It's an instrumental, more of the instrumental those few instrumentals by Van Halen that I like, because it was complete. It felt complete, like it was going somewhere and doing something. It had a feel to it, atmosphere. So I liked it. And then Crossing Over. I think I forgot to rate one. I don't think I liked it. Anyway, Crossing Over was a B-side to Can't Stop Loving You from '95. I like that song. That was a good one. And then Respect the Wind. It was an instrumental for Twister. And I kind of remembered, I think they played it maybe during the credits or something, a Twister. But I remember listening to it, and I like that song a lot. So another cool instrumental by Van Halen that actually liked the song. Then you have side 2, Humans Being. I don't know, I might put it on a playlist, I might not. It kind of falls in between. It's from Twister in '96. And that's probably about the last bit that you see with Sammy doing with the Twister soundtrack. It jumps now to 2004. And they have It's About Time from The Best of Both Worlds, 2004. It's good, not playlist worthy, but good, not bad. And then I know Up for Breakfast I didn't really care for. It was off of there, off of The Best of Both Worlds. And then Learning to See. I'm going to have to go back, but I'm pretty sure I didn't like those last 2 songs. I felt like the Rarities had a really strong first side and started pretty strong on the second side, and it kind of faded out. So yeah, that's where I fall under Rarities. So I'm gonna have to cut it here in a little bit. I got to go in and get stuff for my daughter here, get her tablet. But let's go to Van Halen 3, 1998, and I had when I was reading on this, it seems like it was even what's his name, Anthony, Mark Anthony. Mark Anthony? Well, it sounds like I'm saying it wrong when I say his name. They even considered it like an Eddie Van Halen solo project, and I could see once that was said, I kind of go, I can see where this was, because even the drums weren't as there. It did feel like I could, and he spent a lot of time in the studio producing sound. So Michael Anthony, what did I say? David Anthony, Mark Anthony. Oh, Mark Anthony. Mark Anthony's another guy. Michael Anthony. Knew I had. See, I always feel like I'm saying it wrong. You know me, I'm going to get those names mixed up. I will do it. I'm good, Nick. Just kind of wrapping up a little bit, talking about Van Halen. I'm not going to really bring anybody up right now. I didn't know if you were going to come up, but kind of wrapping it up. I got to go do stuff, but yeah, Michael Anthony. So, and I heard it, and I went in it with an open mind because I didn't know where it was going to go. I had that Sharon, Gary Sharon, I think, in there. So I wasn't sure. I was just like, just go into it. All these I'm listening to with a fresh mind. Just let's go for it. Give it a good try. So it came right in, and I don't think, like I said, I don't think this is on vinyl either. Comes right in with New World, and I like that song. It's an instrumental, and I like this instrumental. So I don't like the earlier instrumentals of Van Halen, but I guess later on I like it a little bit more. And there's probably only that one and one other song off this whole thing that I would put on a playlist. So New World and Once is a song that I like also. So it has Without You was okay, One I Want was okay, From Afar, okay, and then Dirty Water Dog I didn't like. Some of it was just, this is the album I really noticed Eddie doing these chord changes and things that I think are difficult for a singer to put a melody to and to put a lyric across. Because I've written songs before and I know where I want to put a chord change to make the song go somewhere and change, and where it feels like it needs to go, to change it up, to give it that melody that people like. And it feels like a lot of these songs, it was going there, it's building up to go somewhere, and it just falls off the cliff. Like, why didn't you just make this chord change? Eddie has these chord changes in his head, and maybe it's coming from a guitar player, where he's not paying attention to what needs to be done for vocals. So there feels like a separation between, and that's what it feels like in spots all through their career with David Lee Roth and with Sammy Hagar too. That the music was first, and then fit those lyrics to it, and that's why some of this Van Halen stuff doesn't work for me, because it doesn't feel complete. Like the Gary Cherone stuff, the more you listen to it, it feels like he went in the studio after the music was made, and he had to try to fit those vocals in. And I know there's plenty of songs I've started writing, and when I'm trying to fit vocals in, those go in the trash, because I know those aren't gonna. They're forced, and you can't force a song. A good song flows out of you. Ask any musician when their best stuff is being written, they're writing it like that. They're writing 2-3 minutes. They might take time to write lyrics later or something to fix it, but a good song flows out of you. You don't have to force it. I can just tell, and I'm not like an master songwriter, but I've written songs to know what's forced and what could have been, because I kind of get the technique of songwriting. So I get it when people are not on par, and I can feel it in their music, and it just totally turns me off. And to me, it's like, either don't put it on your album or fix it, make it better. And sometimes you can't. Sometimes you just got to let that song go. So I think sometimes when you put subpar stuff on your albums, your audience becomes subpar, because they're fans and they're going to follow you. A lot of people will follow you no matter what. And then they start saying, "Oh, these songs are great." That, come on, some of them just, honestly, you got to admit some of the songs aren't great. But anyway, that's what I felt about this album and points of the Van Halen career. So you had Dirty Water Dog, like I said. Once was good. I like that one to put on the playlist. Fire in a Hole was okay. Josephina just felt like there's no structure, just no point. I didn't get it. Year to the Day was a little bit better. It felt like he's trying to be dramatic and meaningful. I think Eddie was trying to do that in the song, and it really didn't go anywhere. Then Primary was an instrumental that was okay, but not great. And then to me, it ended up, this was their longest album, I believe, and it had 12 tracks on it, and it just died out at the end. Ballad or Bullet, the vocals, that's a good example where the vocals and the music, they don't match to me. It's not working. And I think they're trying to make a political statement here, and sometimes rockers aren't very good at making political statements. I think they're reciting a lot of historical sayings, liberty or death, or would you rather, let me die. It's Bob Dylan as far as making a point with a political statement. They definitely weren't doing it here. But good try. But again, it was a forced song to me. And then How Many Say I didn't get that. It sounded like I don't know what that song was. I don't know I think, again, Eddie's trying to sound, I said I don't want to, he's not a dumb guy. I don't want to say intellect. It sounds like he's being profound or getting these words out. How many say I? You listen to the song and see what you think. I just think it was not him. I don't know what his point was. And the vocals were weird in there, and the harmonies, they're kind of off. So, I don't know. Let's see. My notes, nice music. Oh, I put, how many say I put nice music? Yeah, because it's piano and things like that. Bad lyrics and weird harmonies is what I put for a note. I don't know if Eddie was trying to say something meaningful here. And to me, it sounded like a Broadway tune. And that's right. It did sound like a Broadway tune, like a speak talk kind of thing. So, and I don't want to, it's not a blast on Eddie. Nobody's perfect, and this definitely wasn't one of his perfect songs. So this is the only album with Gary Cherone. Last with Michael Anthony. Michael Anthony actually played bass on 3 of the songs on that album, and majority of bass played on the album was Eddie Van Halen. This is where Wolfie was coming in to play. So, all right, so I'm going to go over the last one, and then I'm going to head out, guys. So the last one is A Different Kind of Truth. And as far as a rating on, I don't know if I did a rating on rarities. I didn't because it's not a studio album. And in Van Halen 3, that one I just talked about, got like a low D. So it wasn't the worst. So what was my worst? The one I gave an F. I forgot what that one was. I'll look back. But it was pretty low. And, I can do without it. So the last one, Here Comes David Lee Roth back. I think it was after they did the greatest hit stuff and they're getting along, and I don't know if they did a live thing or whatever they did, but they come back in the studio together. And to me, this one's darker. Parts of it's darker. But it's the David Lee Roth fun. I think there's even a goofy one in there, but I think that was one of the higher, not goofy, but another one of those throwback songs. So it comes in with Tattoo, and I thought, it's probably subject matter that's not doing it for me either. Tattoo, and you're talking about dragon tattoos and this tattoo, and I like the music's okay, but it just really doesn't go anywhere. Tattoo. I'm like, okay. So it just didn't catch me. So I again, it's not a horribly bad song where I would never listen to it. Okay, let me see. Odds of Anthony returning on bass and Wolf playing guitar with Roth singing. Now, I think that's kind of been. There's rumor for a while of a Van Halen tribute kind of thing, but that's died out for at least a good year or two. I know they were soon after Eddie's death, 6 months to a year. They were talking about it, and there was a lot of talk of it. And I think Wolfie even kind of said, "I don't know how you would do that. How do you?" Because they were talking about like. Joe Satriani coming in and doing Eddie's guitar parts, and two different types of guitar players there. So yeah, I think that fizzled out. People wanted it, but yeah. Well, Wolfie on guitar. Well, that's okay. Just thought about what you're saying there. I don't know, but nobody's talked about it in a good. I haven't heard anything about it in a good year and a half or so. So I think that's kind of died out. It'd be interesting, right, to see Wolfie taking his dad's place because he's got the licks. He seems like it. Anthony on bass. I wouldn't mind seeing it. I feel bad every time I see a video of Wolfie and he talks about his dad. You can tell he just misses his dad. There's that video of Eddie on stage one time, and he comes running out as like a 5-year-old or 6-year-old, gives his dad a hug. It makes you, you can tell he felt for his, he had a good relationship with his dad. So, yeah, I would go see that. That's actually pretty cool. I wouldn't mind seeing that. I don't know what everybody else thinks, but so different kind of truth. Tattoo again. She's the woman. You and Your Blues. There's nothing on this album that I would put on a playlist. There's some songs, the ones I'm mentioning now, that I would listen to, but I wouldn't put on a playlist. Maybe Tattoo, She's the Woman, You and Your Blues. Chinatown, I did not like at all. I didn't get it. I don't know. Blood and Fire, a little bit better. Listen to, but not playlist. And Bullet Head. And Bullet Head, I think that one was borderline for me, where I almost liked it, but there's something missing out of it that I wanted more out of it. I think a lot of these songs were right on the cusp for me, but not good enough where I'd want to put on and feel like I'm, ruin the flow of a playlist. Because when I have a playlist, it's songs that I love and I can sing to all the way through. So I think there's a lot of borderline songs on here. But Bullet Head mentions a different kind of truth. And I think I like the meaning of the song, and I think that's also why I kind of ranked it up there. They're talking about how people drive crazy in traffic and do their own thing, and they have their own different kind of truth. And this is interesting because this is 2012, and this is before, I'm not going to get political, but where we're living now. And so that was, maybe I wasn't as aware back then of how people were living their lives, but they're talking about that, of people doing things that just for their own well-being and forget everybody else kind of thing is what I think they were doing in this song. So anyway, let's see. Bullet Head, As Is, did nothing for it. There's 4 songs right in a row that I could just do without, especially Honey Baby Sweetie Doll. That did nothing for me. It was all over the place, fast, slow, but not in a good way. Just didn't do it for me. The Trouble with Never and Out of Space, just those songs, stinkers. It got a little bit better. Stay Frosty, that is another one. It was Dave, kind of Dave doing his doo-wop kind of thing with some kind of rock in there. So I liked it, but just something missing out of it, not to put it on a playlist kind of thing. And in Big River, I liked another one that felt like it was almost there and just didn't quite make it. And then Beats Working just did nothing for me to end the song, end an album off of. So that one got an overall. That one got an F, a mid-range F. So that was one of the worst albums for me. Would your Van Halen playlist have more Roth or Hagar? I don't know. I didn't do that. I wonder. That's a good question. I'm going to write that. I don't know. You had to throw that question at me. I didn't look at it from that angle. Well, let's look at the albums overall and let's see what ranks. So for ranking, God, I don't know, man. Look at my list. So if I rank the albums, it's 5150, 1984. So boom, boom, back and forth. And it stays with Roth, with Van Halen, the first Van Halen album. Then OU 812, so back to Sammy. Van Halen 2, back over to David Lee Roth. Diver Down, it stays with David Lee Roth. For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge. No, that's not right. Oh, yeah. Okay. Diver Down for Unlawful Carnal Knowledge. So now we're back over to Sammy. Fair Warning, back over to Dave. Van Halen 3, Sharon, Balance. I don't know. Let me see if I can do this in a quick way. See, now I want to know. Suck. Okay. All right. I'm going to do this without the rarities, obviously, because that's not fair. That's a collector's song. That's not studio. Strictly with studio albums. And even though David Lee Roth, how many albums did he have with, I think he had more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He had 6. And 1, 2, 3, 4. So David Lee Roth had 6 albums with Van Halen. And it's a good way to end it. I like this. And Sammy had 4. So let's do real quick. These are all my top-rated songs I'm going to pick. So from Van Halen, let's see, David Lee Roth, Sammy Hagar. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Van Halen 2, 1, 2, 3, 3. Women and Children, 1, 2. Fair Warning, 1, 2. Diver Down, 1, 2, 3. I just wonder if it's fair because he had more albums with him. Like I say, and 1984, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so there's 5. Okay, so 22 points for David Lee Roth. Let's see what Sammy can do with 2 less albums. All right, so 5150. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 already. OU 812. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. Knowledge. 1, and then up there. 1, 2, 3. And then Balance. 1, 2, 2. Let's see. 15, 18. Okay. Well, I don't know how you want to look at it. So 6 albums with David Lee Roth. There's 22 songs that I like and would go on a playlist. And then Sammy Hagar had 18 with 4 albums. So I think the odds are better for Sammy, right? How would you do that? Would you do 22 divided by 6? So you got 3.6 songs per album, and then you have 18 divided by 4, 4.5 songs. So Sammy wins, I'm gonna say. If you look at it that way, if you have a better way of looking at it, I don't know. But it'd be pretty balanced. Not bad. I mean, a difference of 4 songs if I put it together. So that's not bad. Difference of 4 songs if I had a playlist. So you'd have a pretty good mix between the two. So that's what I have. So I gotta go get her tablet. You have any other last comments? That was a good question right at the end. I like that. So I think I'm just gonna keep this video up and live. Because there's no sense on doing a whole other video like this. I pretty much covered everything. I think the only difference is it's going to show the albums as I went through, but you guys know. Maybe I'll go back and take this video and add graphics or something to it. But I'll probably talk about I won't go in this in depth, but I'll probably talk about the box set and just tell you about it so you know how that goes, because I didn't get into the quality of the vinyl or anything. So I'll probably mention it in my recent grabs, which I need to do. But I'll just keep this up. It's my Van Halen thing. So I guess I should just give you a ranking at the end here. So ranked. So between his 12 studio albums, you had Van Halen 78, Van Halen II 79, Women and Children First 80, Fair Warning 81, Diver Down 82, 1984 84, 5150 86. OU 812 88, For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge 91, Balance 95, Van Halen 3 98, and the last album they put out was Different Kind of Truth in 2012. And my ranking was, this is my Van Halen albums in order ranked. 5150 is at the top, then 1984, then the first Van Halen album, then OU 812. Van Halen 2, Diver Down, For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge, Fair Warning, Van Halen 3, Balance, Women and Children First, way down there, and then my least favorite was A Different Kind of Truth. So there's my ranking of Van Halen. So that was cool. Talked about Van Halen for almost an hour and a half. Not bad. That was a lot more than I thought I had to say, but I guess I did. So that's fun. I need to do this with another artist. 12 albums wasn't that hard to get through. So maybe I should do this with somebody else. I kind of like this. It's kind of neat. It got me to really think about the band, what I liked, what I didn't like, and all that. So I really enjoyed it. So yes, I'm thinking Weird Al should be next. You know, I was just thinking that. You know, it's like we're on the same. God. It's like after all these years, and we're on the same wavelength as always. Man. So, yeah. Weird Al. I might do it too, just so you have to sit through my damn video. So anyway, I'm going to call it. Appreciate you hanging in there. All 4 of you guys. I don't know if it's Sam St. John. He sometimes just kind of keeps it on there because he's working. You're going to see now it's brought to that level. All right. You know what? Fine. Weird Al album. You don't want to know what I'm actually writing down. I'm telling you I'm writing down Weird Al album ranking. But I do have a long road trip coming up to Orlando, so I wonder how many Weird Al albums I can get through. Yeah, thanks for hanging in, Nick. I guess you're in there watching too. I appreciate it. Never know when who's watching, but yeah, that was fun. The whole Van Halen thing, pretty neat. I think it's overall I like most of their stuff, but there might be a couple albums I get rid of. We'll see. We don't know. And we're collectors too, so it's hard to get rid of stuff. But anyway, I'm going to start listening to my Weird Al now, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. You can still leave comments, let me know of anything you think that I mentioned in there. Again, this is just my opinion, but I think I was pretty honest in what I heard and what I like. So I think I covered it pretty good. So anyway, I got a new video over on the other channel over at Strange Brew Reactions. I did a a walk and talk today where I was very honest about a song. I don't know if you saw that one yet, but I had to be very honest about the song somebody had me review. So go check that out. And I'll be working on some new grabs. I want to get them filmed hopefully tonight so I can have them out for you guys. There won't be this week at the record store this week because I'll be out of town. But I'll have the new grabs. I have at least 2 videos of new grabs to show you guys. Interesting stuff, pretty neat stuff. But that's what I got. So thanks for PT. That's right. Yeah, that PT, Nick. Same thing with my daughter. You guys are working at the same time. So, all right, guys. Thank you again for watching. Hold on. Let's see. Rick Gatto. Sting is uncopyable. Weird Al. Hold my save. Well, you might just see it, Michael. You might just be seeing a Weird Al ranking. Because when I'm dared, I have, male pride. You have to do it. So, and I'm going to be seeing Sting for the first time in February, him and Billy Joel. So I'm looking forward to that. So, all right, guys, that's it. Thank you for watching again. I try to do this every Monday. Just keep an eye out around 2 o'clock or so. I try to go live. Sometimes I put an announcement, sometimes not, because my life doesn't always allow it. But anyway, I'm going to stop talking. Thanks for watching. You guys enjoy your music, and you take care, all right? I'll talk to you later. Bye.